The explorers are a group of people belonging to a guild who undertake missions across the continent to explore unknown lands or repel monsters that threaten people. Death always lurks beside the adventurer, but nevertheless, people admire them because skill brings wealth and fame. However, when an adventurer becomes so strong from their near-death experiences that they lose control of themselves, turning their blade towards humans, surrendering to their greed and abandoning their honor, they ultimately end up as mere bandits. A group of bandits appears before us, having caught a gazelle. One of them says, "The damage left by the raiding party of Pyth is still evident. And now, we are surprised by an attack from ghouls, not to mention our food running out." He yells at his followers, "What in the name of the hell's creator are you doing? Don't just stand there watching. Go hunt something, anything." As he yells at his followers, behind the tree stood the protagonist and his raiding party, preparing to attack the bandits. Harris says, "I think it's them. What should we do, sir? We await your orders." Enoch replies, "Since they've lowered their defenses, we'll attack them immediately." Asher goes and takes Enoch's hand, saying, "Hold on, Sir Enoch. I accompanied you as a countermeasure against arrows, but we haven't yet measured the enemy's strength. If the enemy has a magic circle higher than mine, we might be defeated." Enoch says, "But Sir Asher, if they start moving." Asher replies, "There's a way." The bandit leader says, "After all the effort I put into expanding our operational area, the follower I recruited from the village last time ended up dead too." One of his followers says, "Oh, Farja, how destructive. Let's think of a counter plan." The gang leader replies, "Who would have thought that a ghoul, a clown, would come and kill all his followers? I never imagined something like this could happen when I was working as an explorer. If only I hadn't been caught killing another explorer for money. By the way, Vilchin, what do you think about attacking another village?" Vilchin says, "That won't work. The Baron is furious because we hung the corpses on the trees. We used to invent using stealth magic, but now it's time to move. I heard there's a city called Martis nearby." As they are talking, flame attack strikes. They don't understand what's happening and activate their defensive technique. The leader says, "This is an unexpected explosion." Vilchin says, "It's not just an explosion, it's magic." Commander Enoch and his followers attack the bandits. He wounds Vilchin. The gang leader looks at him, annoyed, unsure whether to help him or fight them. While he's thinking about what to do, he hears a voice saying, "A mana barrier is a defensive skill characterized by quick casting, but it can be easily penetrated because it's not solid enough. Breaking a mana barrier sends a strong shockwave back to its caster." That man, he's a wizard. Now that their strength has been revealed, I will confront the wizard as you requested. Enoch says, "Please, Sir Asher, eliminate him." The bandit leader says, "The Baron is truly determined to get us this time, isn't he? He hired a wizard and all these people, but things won't go as he wishes." He rushes towards Commander Enoch to fight him, shouting, "I will send your heads to the Baron as my response." Commander Enoch smiles and says, "How scary. Try if you can." Our protagonist goes after the wizard who is trying to conceal the bandits' tracks. The wizard thinks to himself, "I was planning to escape, but he's chasing me. Fortunately, he's chasing me with an earth wall, but those of the third circle and above can use flying magic. And this man is only of the second circle." They reach a place where they can fight. The protagonist stands on the edge of the cliff he created. The wizard initiates an attack with multiple ice arrows. The wizard thinks to himself, "I'll start the attack. If he's only of the second circle, I'll kill him here before I escape." Our protagonist launches a multi-flame arrow technique at the wizard, but the wizard dodges the attack, and it hits the ground, causing a large explosion. The wizard says, "Not bad for a second circle user, but you chose the wrong man to fight. If you had come with the knight, you would be in a difficult position, but alone. I can kill you here and then escape." Our protagonist Asher says, "I have no intention of letting you escape." The wizard says, "Such confidence and the ability to use complex elemental magic at such an early age. I haven't seen such promising talent as yours in a long time, but perhaps it never occurred to you that you would be crushed here today. He attacks him with the third circle magic technique, falling ice. The technique produces a massive piece of ice from the sky, falling onto the protagonist. While the wizard is pleased with the size of the ice spell he can produce, our protagonist casts the earth spear spell, blocks the ice spell, and shatters the spell with the earth spear. The wizard looks at him, frightened, and says, "Earth spear? How can a second circle wizard use a third circle spell?" As he falls to the ground, scared, our protagonist casts the multiple ice spear technique. The wizard says, not only did he use a third circle spell, but he also possesses 4 elements. Don't tell me, was he deceiving me from the beginning? Our protagonist kills him with the ice spell. After finishing him off, he says, "Good thing I came in disguise. I learned how to face the wizard. 2 days before the expedition, I created an experimental medicine using ingredients I brought from the magic tower. I call it the magic circle expander. When I think of those hellish days I spent in the magic tower, I never wanted to conduct human experiments again. But thanks to the experiments I conducted on myself, I was able to reach the 3rd level." The protagonist looks at the wizard lying dead on the ground and says, "I must leave evidence of defeating the bandits if I want to prove that I completed the mission and earn his trust." One of the squad soldiers comes to take the bandit wizard. The protagonist says, "Wait, I managed to deal with the bandits." The soldier replies, "Yes, although we still have to deal with their leader, Sir Enoch. He's fighting him now. He should be dealt with by the time we return." He looks at our protagonist, pleased with the elimination of the bandits. Our protagonist says, "Can I ask one thing before we return?" The soldier replies, "Yes, of course, go ahead." The protagonist asks, "What do we do with the bandits' belongings?" The soldier says, "Our Lord told us that if you like anything, as long as it's not something we need, you can take it." He takes the staff the bandit wizard was using. He evaluates the staff. It's a magical stone staff with an enchantment applied to it that reduces the time needed to cast spells and increases the effectiveness of ice element spells. "It might be useful to me." Sir Barrack arrives to check on Asher. He says, "I was worried about you after we dealt with all the bandits." The protagonist apologizes, saying, "I'm sorry. He was stronger than I expected. It took me some time to deal with him." Barrack says, "Judging by the damage to the surrounding ground, I'd say it was a tough battle." After they arrive at the bandit camp and gather, Enoch tells him, "Excellent work, Asher. If it weren't for you, we would have had more casualties." He replies, "Not at all. This was actually a great experience for me." The bandit leader looks at the wizard and says to himself, "Velshin is dead? This is impossible. Damn it. If this continues, we'll have to return to the Lord and be executed. I can't die in the countryside like this. There's still so much I want to see. I have no choice. I must escape." The bandit leader takes a sword and injures some soldiers in an attempt to escape, shouting, "Get out of my way." He thinks to himself, "Without Velshin's magic, I can't break through their ranks. This leaves me with only one way. I'll kill the knight, steal his horse, and get out of here." The bandit leader rushes towards the knight, but Knight Enoch blocks the attack. He grabs him and throws him to the ground. The bandit leader exclaims, "What the hell is this?" Commander Enoch orders them to throw his sword away, tie him up, and don't let him move. The bandit leader asks the commander, "How dare you throw away your sword? Don't you have a knight's pride?" Enoch replies, "What do you mean? Pride is something only the living possess, my thieving friend." The commander stabs the bandit leader. He goes to the protagonist, Asher, and says, "I'm sorry for showing you such an ugly sight. If I had more time, I would have cleanly severed his neck. I don't always fight like this." The protagonist says, "Impressive work, Sir Enoch." He looks at the rest of the gang and asks, "Why are you leaving them alive?" He replies, "Well, I heard there were some familiar faces among the bandits. I think they might be survivors from the Farmtown attack. That's why we plan to transport them to the castle and confirm their identities. Before we decide their fate, One of the knights orders the remaining soldiers to prepare to return to the castle and transport the bandits. The bandit leader appears before us, apparently not killed, but hit on the head to knock him unconscious. He looks at his gang members being transported to the castle, looking scared and stressed about what will happen to him at the castle. Suddenly, he shouts and starts running. "I don't want to die like this." One of the soldiers goes after him, saying, "I'll handle you." The protagonist says, "Wait a minute, something's strange." Suddenly, they hear a scream from among the trees. "Wait, help me, please." As they prepare for what's about to happen, a crushing attack hits the soldier in the head. While they are still trying to comprehend what's happening, a goblin appears and attacks them. They exclaim, "Is that a goblin? I can't believe it." Our protagonist tells them to believe it. He thinks to himself, could it be that the adventurers failed to defeat them? Moreover, there's not just one. I can feel the presence of dozens more. That goblin must be the leader of those monsters. He's similar to one I've seen before. His mouth has a long angle that makes him look like he's smiling, and he's enormous, making him superior to others of his kind. He must have evolved into a giant goblin. The giant goblin orders the rest of the goblins to attack them. Commander Enoch orders the soldiers, "Everyone, take defensive positions. Focus on the goblin first. We'll deal with the ORCs later." The giant goblin attacks the commander, striking him with his sword, causing him to fall to the ground in pain from the blow. The giant goblin tries to stomp on Commander Enoch, but the knights with him, Harris and Barrack, save the commander. After being rescued, the commander goes and attacks the giant goblin, stabbing him in the chest. After that, the commander goes to his comrades, who are looking at the giant lying on the ground. The giant goblin takes one of the smaller goblins and eats it to heal from the wounds he sustained. After healing from his injuries, he prepares to attack them. The commander says, "Did he heal by eating his own kind? I don't think we'll be able to return safely."